from the PSM point of view. And most importantly, I will try to complete. I will try to cover all the most of the aspects as fast as possible. So let's begin. First of all, it occurs only in humans, and there are no animal reservoirs. Okay, so only humans, no animal reservoir. So the good part about it is it occurs only in humans, so we can eradicate it. Okay, now what are the problems in measles elimination is, first of all, there is weak immunization system. Means not a lot of people are not yet being reached for immunization. Secondly, high infectious nature of measles, and we'll talk about it. The secondary attack rate is very high in measles, which is another factor. There is increased refusal to vaccination, increased transmission among adolescents and adults, and gap in the global and financial resources. Okay, so that was the problems that we face in measles elimination. Okay, so obviously weak immunization system, the high infectious nature of measles, increased refusal to vaccination, increased transmission among adults and adolescents. Okay, so let us talk about the measles mortality reduction strategy. Okay, so the name is accelerated measles mortality reduction strategy. Okay, reduction strategy. Basically, the first is achieve and maintain high levels of population immunity through high coverage with 2 doses of measles and rubella containing vaccine. Okay, so simply we want to reach maximum people. We want to cover maximum people and give vaccination to maximum people. Okay, so and by this we build immunity to maximum people. Okay, now second is establish effective surveillance to monitor disease and evaluate progress. Establish effective surveillance to monitor disease and evaluate progress. Third, maintain outbreak preparedness and appropriate management. Maintain outbreak preparedness and appropriate management. Effective surveillance to monitor the disease. Means we want some system, a good system by which we can see how much the disease is prevailing among the population. Third, we want to be prepared for any outbreak if occurs. So outbreak preparedness and appropriate management. Appropriate management. Engage to build public confidence in vaccination. Okay, engage to build public confidence in vaccination. Means we want to tell people that vaccination is good, not bad. For now. Conduct research and development to support operations and improve vaccination and diagnostic tools. Means we want to build research centers and develop support to improve vaccination and diagnostic tools. Okay, so agent. RNA paramyxoviruses. So it is caused by an RNA paramyxovirus. Source of infection is the case. Okay, so here you need to remember that measles do not have carriers. Okay, they do not have carriers, and case is the only source. Okay. Next we'll be talking about the period of communicability. So basically this is the rash, 4 days after and 4 days before. This is the period of communicability. Okay, fine. Next, secondary attack rate is very high. Okay, very high. Host factors. So as we all know, the main victims of this disease is 6 months to 3 year children. Okay, one attack gives lifelong immunity. Okay, lifelong immunity. Children protected by maternal antibody for up to 6 months. Fine, this is applicable to most of the diseases, not all of course, but most of the diseases this is applicable, that the child is protected up to 6 months of age. Okay, one of them is measles. So nutrition, now this is the point which I wanted to stress upon, that malnourishment is one of the major risk factor for severe disease. Okay, so measles is severe in malnourished child. Okay, measles is severe in malnourished child. The reason they say is probably because of poor cell mediated immunity. Okay, and environmental factors, if we talk about environment, dry season. Okay, dry season. Next we'll talk about transmission. Most of the infections most of the respiratory infection you will see would be droplet nuclei and droplet infection. Okay, so basically droplet nuclei and droplet, it's like, suppose a person sneezes and there's this droplets and droplet nuclei are released from the nose and the mouth, and this will travel and go into someone else's lungs, and that's how it causes the infection. Okay, so that was about transmission. Then incubation period is 10 days till the onset of fever. So suppose this is the infection that the person got, 10 days the person got fever, and after 4 days of fever the person will get rash. Okay, so basically this is the sequence. Now incubation period of vaccine induced measles is 7 days, means the vaccine will be effective in 7 days of administration. Okay, so IP of vaccine measles. Next we'll talk about the clinical features next. Number 1, prodromal stage. So prodromal stage is characterized by, we all know, malaise, fever, cough, coryza, redness of the eye, lacrimation and nasal discharge. Okay, so fever, cough, coryza, nasal discharge, redness of the eye. Okay, then Koplik spot, pathognomonic white spot on the buccal mucosa opposite second lower molar. Koplik spot, yes, this is important. Okay, what are Koplik spot? Koplik spot are the pathognomonic of measles, and basically these are white spot on buccal mucosa opposite second lower molar. Okay, so basically I don't have an image here right now, but you can Google it, but see it once. Okay, see it, because I will say white spot on buccal mucosa opposite second low molecules, you will not remember that way. Okay, see it once and remember it that way. Okay, so image based question can come. Okay, so next is the eruptive stage. The first stage we saw prodromal stage, second is the eruptive stage. Eruptive means the rashes will erupt now, and the rashes are typical maculopapular rash which are dusky red. Okay, so they are this sort of macules and papules, that way dusky red maculopapular rash. Okay, and that is the first is behind the ears, then on the face, then to lower down extremities. Okay, lower extremities. Fine. Now lesions and the fever disappear in another 3 to 4 days, signaling the end of the disease. Brown discoloration may persist for 2 months or so. Okay, so as the rash disappears, the disease is like sort of resolved. Okay, so next is the yes, so one more thing I wanted to stress here is that the rash is basically a result of interaction of T cells with the virus infected cells. Means the rash is showing that the virus and the T cells are reacting, means your immunity is developing. Okay, but you need to remember that in HIV patients, immunocompromised patients, rash may not develop because obviously they have lower CD4 counts, right? Rash may not develop. Okay, remember that, just keep that in mind. Okay, now diagnosis is mainly clinical. There is not much of usually not practiced, but if asked, there is IgM antibodies which are measles specific. We can also do RNA by RT-PCR. Samples are nasal swabs or oral fluid. Next is post measles stage. Okay, in post measles stage, the child loses weight, remains weak for days, and the patient is susceptible to infections of pulmonary infections, TB, etc. Okay, now complications, the most common complication is otitis media. Okay, most common complications of measles is otitis media. And second most common is diarrhea. Less commonly SSP, but this is like, you need to remember this. SSP does not occur that commonly, but you need to remember that subacute sclerosing panencephalitis can occur. Okay, in immunocompromised acute progressive encephalitis and giant cell pneumonia, CFR up to 50%. Usually case fatality rate is 3 to 6%. Okay, so immunocompromised, make sure you give them antivirals, because usually we don't give any specific treatment to measles patient, but in HIV you need to take care. You need to give acyclovir, because what happens is they already have lower immunity, and they can easily land up into complications like encephalitis and pneumonia, which is fatal, which is very fatal. Okay, so remember that. Fine. And also you need to remember one more thing, that give vitamin A supplements. Okay, gave vitamin A supplements to all patients. To all patients. Fine. And pregnancy, yes. Effect on pregnancy. Usually there's no much as such, there is no birth defects, but abortion, spontaneous abortion can happen. Okay, so that is it. And yes, newborns born to such mothers should be given immunoglobulin. Treatment, as I told you, no much treatment, supportive care, plus you can give vitamin A supplements, then obviously cough relievers, pain relievers, then also tell the patient to have proper diet or breastfeeding, then give the patient ORS. Isolate the patient for 7 days. Okay, isolate the patient for 7 days. Fine. Now prevention is, vaccine is very good vaccine is really effective. And there is live attenuated vaccine. Safe and effective vaccine is lyophilized and has to be reconstituted. Okay, now certain things that you need to remember is that it is given subcutaneous. Very important. Remember, subcutaneous, right upper arm. Okay, subcutaneous schedule important. First MR 9 months, 9 to 12, and second dose, first dose, second dose is 16 to 24 months. Subcutaneous live attenuated vaccine, upper arm. Remember, subcutaneous, very important. Okay, and I used to I still confuse the dosage forms. That is very bad. Let us see contraindications. Patients allergic to neomycin. Okay, neomycin, pregnancy, do not give, because this is a general live attenuated vaccine. Any vaccine you if you don't even know contraindications, but just keep in mind, live attenuated vaccine means do not give in pregnancy, do not give in HIV, do not give in very small children, infants, no. Okay, and yes, one more important thing is here, that as such side effects do not occur here, but what happens is the vaccine has to be reconstituted and used as soon as possible, like used within 4 hours of reconstitution. It is stored at minus temperatures. Okay, and when reconstituted, used within 4 hours, because what happens is usually the vial gets contaminated with Staph aureus, and then it will cause toxic shock syndrome. Okay, so MR vaccine, it's not a side effect, but when the proper vaccination, proper hygienic measures are not taken, then toxic shock syndrome can happen. So make sure to keep that in mind. 4 hours, remember, 4 hours Staph aureus. After reconstitution, you need to keep it in 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. Before reconstitution, it is stored in minus temperatures. Okay, then this 2 doses gives lifelong immunity, and immunity develops after 11 to 12 days. Now suppose if we have susceptible contacts, we can give vaccination, but only within 3 days of contact. Remember, okay, susceptible contacts can be given, but only within 3 days. Again, for live attenuated vaccine, you need to remember some more contraindications, that live attenuated vaccines as such are not given in patients which are severely ill, and don't have to just mug up, like simply you can just write any condition which in which there is decreased immunity for patient, like steroid therapy, or a patient who is having cancer and is on chemotherapy or radiotherapy, as such, like that. Okay, like you know, the blood cell leukemia, etc., right? So that is it. And yes, one more thing I wanted to tell you here is that HIV, when the patient is in early stages, like he's stable, if he's clinically stable, you can give this vaccine. Okay, fine. Then I talk about the toxic shock syndrome, and I talked about the vaccination, and I think that was all right. But yes, last but not the least is this catch up, keep up, follow up plan. Okay, catch up, keep up, follow up plan. In this, there is this catch up. All children of 9 to 14 months are given 1 dose of vaccination. Then keep up, integrated an MR vaccine 2 in the national immunization schedule program. Follow up, every 2 to 4 years we do a mass 1 dose vaccination campaign. Immunoglobulin, you need to remember that it can be given, but within 3 to 4 days of exposure. Okay, after the disease is established, it would not be of much use. Fine. So I think that was all about measles. And salient features I want you to remember is remember this strategy that we talked about. Okay, this reduction strategy. Then remember some pathognomic feature, like the Koplik spot. Remember that it is severe in malnourished child. Don't forget to give vitamin A supplements. And remember that it is not necessary that rash always develops in a measles patient. The most common complication, remember. Then remember do not forget to give vitamin A supplements. Isolate the patient for 7 days. Yes, please remember subcutaneously it is given. If you tend to forget such things, I'll suggest make a chart or something and put it on board where you can see it. Okay, so, and yes, do not forget toxic shock syndrome. Fine, I think that was all. Okay.